Today, I want to talk about my longevity training priorities and why I no longer train for aesthetics. But first things first, here is my current shape. I'm absolutely happy with it and proud of the transformation I've gone through. But it wasn't always like this. This is me before I started my fitness journey. Unfortunately, I don't have many photos of that time, but the difference is obvious. I spent most of my childhood sedentary, focused on books, not building muscle. I hated sports practiced in school because we were forced to do measurable drills like sprinting and crunches without ever learning proper technique. I only realized how important movement was when I stopped liking what I saw in the mirror. At that time, my main goal was to shape my body. That was in my late 20s. How I learned to train. Most of what I know comes from self-education. I've never been someone who just follows orders, even from a coach. I need to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So from the very beginning, I started looking for answers. I took private coaches, I studied strength and endurance training, physiology, biomechanics, nutrition, and body composition. I tested different training and nutrition strategies on myself. Everything I did came from a deep desire to understand how the body works, what it needs, and how different strategies impact both health and appearance. Over time, that process helped me transform my body into something I could feel proud of year round. Now I'm 40 years old and I look and feel better than in my 20s. What I know now hasn't just changed my body, it changed how I think. I used to believe that movement wasn't for me, that I was built for intellectual work. Now I know that all of us need movement to stay sharp, to maintain our independence as we age, and to keep doing the things we love, whether that's hiking, traveling, or simply living without restriction. I'm not so much focused on how my body looks. I train to extend my health span. I train for longevity. And today I want to share my top priorities for that goal. Strength training is my number one priority. Research shows that resistance training is the only way to preserve and build muscle. And muscle starts declining at the age 30. Even more, there is strong evidence that strength training benefits brain function as well. And it's never too late. Even people who start training later in life can dramatically improve their quality of life, their health markers, and how they feel in their bodies. That's why I train 4 to 5 times per week. Some days I focus on classic resistance work, reasonably challenging weights, progressive overload, movements tailored to my body. Other days I focus on learning new skills. This year I studied calisthenics and it's been a game changer. It's helping me build mind-muscle connection, coordination and full body control. When I achieved my first L-sit and elbow lever, I felt incredibly proud. It wasn't just about performance, it was about knowing I was still learning, still growing, still improving. My second most important priority is running. And there are more than one reason for that. I know many gym influencers downplay cardio, but for me running is essential. I want to live longer and live well. And to do that, I need a strong engine. Climbing stairs, hiking, walking through airports, running errands. These things get harder with age if you don't train your heart and lungs, so endurance is important. But I also choose running over other cardio sports for two specific reasons: to improve my bone density and to use it as my tool for high intensity interval training. We lose bone density with age, which raises the risk of fractures and disability. The only way to preserve or improve bone density is through impact. Running and jumping provide the stimulus that weight training alone often can't. That is why I also add plyometrics, like box jumps, into my strength training. And of course, high intensity interval training is a key part of my longevity plan. It supports metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to switch between burning carbs and fat. That flexibility declines with age. HIIT also targets fast twitch muscle fibers. These are naturally less developed in women, and they are the first to decline with age. But they are essential for muscle growth, strength, and quick reactions. My HIIT sections are structured like this: a warm-up of 7 to 10 minutes of light jogging, then sprints, 6 to 8 intervals of 20 to 30 seconds of all out, with 3 minutes of full recovery, walking or light jog between each, followed by a cool down, 10 minutes or more of easy jogging. The rest between sprints is essential. You want the final sprint to be just as powerful as the first. That's what creates adaptation. To be honest, I enjoy this session so much that I often don't notice the time passing. My running week looks like this: one HIIT session, 2 to 4 steady state runs, depending on how I feel. These might be longer runs, tempo sessions, or zone 2 endurance work. I'm not training for a race, I'm training for life. So I'm always flexible at choosing the kind of session. The most important is that I go out and run. So from my perspective, if your goal is longevity, here are the non-negotiables. At least 3 strength training sessions per week. Even half an hour of resistance training 3 times per week will transform your body and health. At least 2 cardio sessions per week. Not necessary running, of course. 1 HIIT session per week. Running, cycling, rowing, kettlebell swings, it doesn't matter. As long as the effective structure is there. 20 to 30 seconds all out and 3 to 5 minutes rest. Plus some impact work, at least jumping, for bone density. I know that's a lot, and my personal week looks athletic because it is, and I love it. I feel the benefits every day. That's it for today. Thanks for being here with me. Let me know if you want me to cover other topics, nutrition, workouts, whatever you need. See you next time. Bye.